The story begins with a human delivering the final blow to a dragon. In its last moments, the dragon reflects that it doesn't recall doing anything to deserve being hunted by humans. It had even fought alongside them at times. Suspecting something else might be driving them to slay him, the dragon accepts its fate, thinking it has lived too long. As it crumbles to dust, its last thought is a wish to finally rest in the underworld. But the gods have other plans. Instead of peace, the dragon finds itself reincarnated as a child. Upon waking, the child sees his parents and an old woman standing over him. The old woman is surprised at how quickly the child woke and declares he might be gifted. His father proudly introduces him as Dolan. The story then fast-forwards several years. Dolan is now a teenager living in the village of Varan, located near the northern border of the Kingdom of Eret. At 16, Dolan works hard to support himself, having already left home. He explains that in this village, once you turn 15, you're expected to live independently. One day, while fishing with his brother, Dolan mentions his plan to investigate a nearby swamp, where lizard men have been missing for a month. His brother reminds him that it should be the soldiers' responsibility, but Dolan knows the village's captain and his soldiers are too busy to look into it. His brother offers to go with him, but Dolan reassures him that he'll be fine alone. Later, Dolan encounters the village soldier, Melita, who teases him about his fishing haul and reminds him of his trip to the swamp. Dolan reassures her that he's been preparing and thanks her for helping convince the village chief to allow him to go. She brushes off his gratitude, saying it's no big deal since Dolan has always helped train the soldiers. The next day, the villagers gather to see Dolan off as he heads to the swamp. The village priestess gives him a blessing for protection, and the old woman warns him of a bad omen she saw in her fortune-telling. Dolan thanks them all and sets off. When Dolan reaches the swamp, he senses the strong power of earth elementals and notices that the water's influence is fading. He realizes that something dangerous is nearby. As he explores the swamp, he encounters a lamia named Selena. She is surprised to see a human there, and they briefly chat before a mad earth elemental suddenly attacks. Dolan leaps in to protect Selena, and they flee to hide under a large mushroom. Once the monster passes by, they decide to team up to defeat it. Selena is nervous, explaining that, as an earth monster, her attacks might not work well against the elemental. However, she reveals that she has a unique spell that could help. Dolan suggests he take the front lines while she supports him from a distance. Selena reluctantly agrees, and they prepare to face the creature together. As the battle begins, Selena uses her racial magic to summon a massive snake, which wraps around the earth elemental and holds it down. Dolan uses this opportunity to get close and strike the final blow, channeling his draconic magic through his sword. He successfully slices the elemental in half, ending the battle. Afterward, Dolan and Selena take shelter in an old hut. Dolan prepares a meal, and Selena teases him, surprised at how calm he is around her. He explains that she's different from the lamias he's encountered before, who were more aggressive and distrustful of humans. Selena reveals that lamias are an all-female race, cursed long ago, and their bodily fluids are poisonous, making it difficult to find husbands. Dolan sympathizes with her, and they bond over their shared struggles. The next day, Dolan and Selena part ways. Dolan gives her some of his life energy as a farewell gift, though it temporarily overwhelms her due to its strength. Concerned, Dolan checks to see if she's okay, but Selena assures him she'll be fine. Before leaving, Dolan invites her to visit his village if she ever finds a husband, and they part on good terms, each heading in their own direction. The episode opens with two men encountering Selena traveling alone. When they mock her for it, she calmly replies that she's stronger than they think. Upon seeing her lower half, they flee in terror, leaving her confused. We then shift to Dolan, Ari, and their teacher who teaches the students about making magical potions. She explains that magic-infused ingredients require extreme precision. Dolan struggles with potion making, but Ari reassures him, noting his knowledge of herbs. Dolan admits that as a former dragon he never needed medicine, which makes potion making challenging. Muggle, encouraging him to improve, gradually offers to show him how to turn his failed poisonous mixture into an antidote. After a meal with friends, Dolan hurries to training, stopping to accept a drink from meal along the way. He reaches the training grounds late, where Albert the leader calls a break. Dolan then senses the presence of a dragon in a nearby forest. That night, Dolan encounters Selena in the forest, surprised to find her there. She explains that while she wanted to find a human husband, her attempts to socialize scared people off. Dolan offers to let her stay in the village, noting that people live with monsters and humanoids and would warm up to her with time. Selena agrees, asking for his life energy again, which he shares. The following morning, Baron, Merida, and the guards discover a dead monster, evidence of a lamia attack. They discuss forming a team to eliminate it, but one advisor suggests requesting capo reinforcements. Meanwhile, Dolan overhears the village elder who advises patients, explaining that the Lamia's gifts might mean no harm. Excited, Dolan informs Selena that the villagers' wariness is decreasing and they agree to proceed with their plan to help her integrate. The villagers, warned to stay cautious during outdoor training, are surprised when a soldier reports a monster sighting, an enormous armored bear. As it threatens a young boy, Selena and Dolan intervene. She shields the child using her powers to send the bear back into the forest. Witnessing her strength, the villagers begin to see her differently, although Baron initially distrusts her. Dolan argues that Selena saved both him and the boy, prompting Baron to relent as Selena tearfully explains she has no intent to harm anyone. Moved, the villagers realize she's different from other Lamias. Later, Selena wakes up and ungrateful for the villagers' hospitality. Baron apologizes for his earlier hostility and Dolan reintroduces himself as if meeting her for the first time. Relieved and grateful, Selena realizes the plan worked and thanks her friends, happy that her place in the village is secure. Selena, now settled in the village, has grown comfortable with everyone, putting Dolan at ease. His plan for her acceptance has worked perfectly and he looks up at the sky, thanking his goddess friend for this fateful encounter. Feeling grateful, Dolan decides to visit Myrol and releases a large amount of his sealed aura, allowing him to fly up to the realm of the gods in his dragon form. Myrol welcomes him warmly, teasing him about his new human life and his choice to live peacefully when he could use his powers to influence the world. Dolan thanks her for guiding Sister Letitia's judgment, which helped Selena gain the villagers' trust. Dolan asks Myrol how she discovered he had reincarnated as a human. She explains that she sensed his spirit in the joyful prayers of the villagers. She remarks how Dolan used to be gloomy as a dragon and now she's pleased to see him happy among humans. Dolan reflects on his past as a dragon and his joy at living as a human, finding excitement in the fleeting beauty of human life. He suddenly wakes, realizing his encounter with Myrol was just a dream. But as he contemplates its meaning, Selena bursts into his room, reminding him about his promise to help plant potatoes with Christina. Dolan gently scolds her for barging in without knocking and she apologizes before reminding him of the promised day for their work on the field. In another city, a young man sells newspapers with headlines about women and girls going missing, creating unease among residents. Meanwhile, in an old castle, an elven woman, the dean of an academy, reads a letter from Christina. Christina writes about her experiences in the countryside where villagers train in combat due to their lack of a military presence. She shares an account of sparring with a villager who took the duel too seriously, only to lose to Christina's superior technique. Impressed by her swordsmanship, the villagers embraced Christina and she soon felt welcomed. However, Christina confides in the dean that she isn't fully happy, though she's grown close to the villagers. She goes to the bar where Captain Baron, who enjoys his wife's unique milk, engages her in a friendly drinking contest. Christina surprisingly holds her own, impressing Baron and the villagers with her resilience. Elsewhere, rumors of Christina befriending a Lamia spread through her academy, surprising many who are intrigued by the bond between a human and a demon. Meanwhile, Kieran, a woman with a mysterious aura and the witch of the Governor-General, becomes interested in the Lamia. She instructs the dean to report on Selena, curious about why a powerful demon like her would live peacefully among humans. The dean defends Selena's kindness, mentioning that the goddess of the land has approved her presence. Kieran remains skeptical and instructs the local administrator Gouda to summon Selena to the capital for assessment. Back at the village, Dolan, Selena and Christina spend time farming. Suddenly, soldiers led by Gouda arrive to take Selena to the capital. The village chief protests, but Gouda insists on removing any potential threat. Dolan offers to accompany Selena, putting her at ease. Meanwhile, Christina, alarmed by the summons, rushes back to the academy to consult the dean, learning that the real orchestrator is Kieran the witch. As Dolan and Selena continue their journey, they wonder about the fate that awaits them in the capital. As the carriage carrying Selena and Dolan abruptly halts, a soldier approaches to announce that Commissioner Gouda has summoned Selena. The commissioner then pulls them aside into the forest for a private conversation, speaking in hushed tones. Although we can't hear his words, the shock on their faces is apparent. Meanwhile, back at the academy, headmistress Olivia explains to Christina that Kieran, as the government's mage general, wields significant power, allowing her to operate without many restrictions. Frustrated, Christina asks if there's any way to stop her, but Olivia warns against acting impulsively. She then hints that there's more troubling her than she's let on. Elsewhere, Gouda delivers Dolan and Selena to Kieran, who greets them warmly and apologizes for the journey's inconvenience. She then asks who Dolan is and he introduces himself as a resident of Varan village, explaining that he came with Selena. Kieran invites them to dinner, and as they sit down, Kieran explains that she was initially concerned Selena might be using her cursed eyes to manipulate the villagers, but she's now convinced otherwise. With a disturbing smile, she assures Selena she would never harm something as beautiful and pure. Back at the academy, Gouda visits Olivia. Christina, not one to mince words, demands to know what he's done with Dolan and Selena. Gouda deflects, stating he needs to discuss something with Olivia. Meanwhile, at the mansion, Kieran used potion that puts Selena and Dolan to sleep and then hovers over Selena with a scalpel, admiring her skin like a treasure. Just as she is about to cut, Dolan interrupts, questioning how many people Kieran has killed. She laughs unfazed and explains her twisted pursuit of beauty. Each piece of her body has been acquired through forbidden magic, from arms taken from an arachnid to legs from a beastkin, all stitched together to craft her perfection. Dolan, disgusted, warns her that true beauty could never stem from such bloodshed. He then reveals a magic earpiece which has allowed the Academy to overhear everything. Right on cue, Olivia, Gouda, Christina, and a group of soldiers burst in, and the soldiers apprehend Kieran. Olivia explains that she planned to frame Selena for the disappearances, claiming Selena resisted to justify killing her. Furious, Kieran lashes out, her years of frustration spilling over. She describes her obsession with beauty stemming from her youth as an ugly child and her resolve to steal beauty from those blessed with it. Kieran then reveals her true form, a grotesque blend of countless stolen parts. She lunges at Selena, who uses her cursed eyes to freeze her temporarily. When Kieran breaks free, Christina steps in, slicing her hand. Kieran instantly regenerates and counterattacks, launching a powerful beam of magic. Olivia, unable to summon her fairies underground, struggles for a solution. Dolan, however, crafts a powerful magic circle, creating a barrier around Kieran and bombarding her with advanced spells. The spell consumes Kieran, leaving Selena relieved to see Dolan unharmed. Later, Selena and Dolan are back at the mansion, where Gouda apologizes for involving them in the mission and hands Selena her permit, officially allowing her to live in Varen village. Thrilled, she thanks him, noting how different he seems now compared to when they first met. As they prepare to leave, Dolan invites Denzel, the son of a trusted friend, to visit the village, and Denzel suggests Dolan consider joining the academy. Dolan is intrigued, but declines, preferring to stay in Varen for now. As they travel back, Christina brings up the academy's offer. Dolan admits he's curious, realizing that while his village is dear to him, it's small and isolated. He starts to wonder if the academy might be his next step. Meanwhile, deep within a forest, an elf cautiously observes as an army of monsters emerges through a teleportation gate, terror filling his gaze. Late at night, the forest became overrun by giant insects. A poor elf hunter saw them emerge through a portal. Sadly, Hunter was struck by an ant, and with a single blow he fell. By the time one of his hunting companions arrived, he had already passed on. As the night wore on, the rest of the elves fell to the monstrous horde, an event witnessed by their leader, who upon finding a lone survivor muttered, "Horde of monsters," before meeting the same fate. Meanwhile, Christina and Dolan were training in fencing, while Dolan also taught about avoiding weak points in combat. Selena, who had recently heard that Christina was invited to attend the Magic Academy, was impressed by Dolan's teachings. This made Selena reflect that one day she might be alone, but seeing the children playing with her gave her hope. Dolan was pleased to see Christina integrating well into the village and hoped it would remain this way for a long time. Later, Christina mentioned her desire to explore the forest. She believed fighting these beasts would make her stronger. Dolan, recognizing the danger, tried to dissuade her, but Christina insisted, explaining that Albert, a friend of theirs, had been having trouble with his pigs and protecting them was a valid reason to venture out. Dolan reluctantly agreed to help her, and soon they found themselves with Albert's pigs, accompanied by some heavily armored guards. As they ventured deeper into the forest, they were cautious, as it had been a while since the area had been surveyed. Suddenly, one of the pigs heard a noise, and a soldier who went to investigate was attacked by a giant spiked tiger. The situation escalated when a strange demon appeared, attacking their captain. Dolan swiftly took care of the demon, explaining it was a scout from the demonic realm. Though it was a low-ranking demon, its speed and strength made it formidable. With Christina's help, they defeated it, but to their surprise, the creature dissolved into the air. Dolan asked Christina to keep this incident secret, though she was confused. Later, the village leader confirmed that Guy, who had been injured by the tiger, was out of danger, though the villagers were worried. The spiked tiger was rare, and the appearance of an unknown beast that could overpower Baron was concerning. Christina asked the village elder how often they faced such threats, but the elder assured her this was unprecedented. This worried Dolan even more, as a spiked tiger could devastate the village, but this demon was far stronger. The healer revealed that Baron's wounds were not consistent with a normal tiger attack, suggesting there might be a greater threat lurking in the forest. Dolan, unwilling to let the situation slide, sought permission to investigate further. The elder gave his approval, but insisted Dolan take someone for safety. Christina volunteered immediately, though the village leader was hesitant, fearing for her safety. Selena quickly volunteered to join, as her magic and perception would be useful. Dolan accepted her help, thanking Christina for her concern. The next morning, the group set off, with Selena mentioning how long it had been since she and Dolan ventured alone together. This made Selena uneasy, but she promised to be a good companion. As they reached the edge of the forest, they ran into Christina, who had coincidentally arrived at the same time. They continued together, encountering more demons along the way. Dolan and Christina worked together to defeat them, but Dolan couldn't help but think about Christina's persistence in joining the mission despite his orders. Christina was determined not to leave her friends alone against such strong enemies, especially when the village was at stake. During the battle, a giant beast appeared to challenge Christina, but Selena calmed it with an apple and translated its apology. Christina, though, remained uneasy about having such creatures nearby. Dolan also shared a jam he had created, and Christina, still uneasy about the beast's babies, used an apple to gain their trust. As they ate, Dolan's thoughts drifted to what could be powerful enough to drive the beasts from their territory. Their meal, made with special ingredients from Dolan's parents, reminded Selena of how charming her friend was, causing her to blush. Just then a small blue orb appeared in the forest, revealing a fairy. The fairy, with her last words, urged them to flee. Everyone else began to retreat, but Dolan and Christina prepared for another battle. They fought off several demons, but one managed to sneak up on Dolan, forcing him to use his true strength to defeat it. Christina was almost killed, but Selena saved her in time. As they checked on the fairy, who was recovering, she introduced herself. She had been fleeing from one of the demons and had flown to find help. She warned them that a nearby portal could be altering the forest's ecosystem, making it even more dangerous. Christina asked her about the recent changes, but the fairy could not speak further as they were surrounded by enemies. Dolan held off Christina's attack, sensing that the enemies didn't intend to fight immediately. When he put down his weapon, the forest elves emerged. It seemed they wanted Marl back from the enemy. At that moment, the elf leader Geo heard Merle reveal that there was nothing to fear since the humans had saved her. Meanwhile, Dolan was calming his group, reminding them that elves weren't inherently evil. When Geo approached, he expressed his gratitude, acknowledging that Marl could have suffered harm without their intervention. However, this forest was their territory, and Geo demanded an explanation for why the humans had entered without permission. Dolan, after properly introducing himself, explained that unusual monsters had been appearing in his village. Since these creatures originated from the forest, they had entered to investigate and protect their people. Geo understood their reasoning, but warned that the forest had recently become dangerous even for elves. Dolan then revealed that he was aware of the demonic soldiers, but his statement angered Geo, who explained that the demons were here to wage war on the elves for their territory. As Geo prepared to leave, Christina stopped him, unwilling to leave him alone against the demons. Selena held her back, but Christina continued to emphasize how dangerous even a single demon could be. Dolan, however, remained calm, offering to help the elves, but he didn't understand why the demons had started a war with them. He realized there was a hidden portal in the forest which was incomplete and needed to be destroyed. Dolan was willing to use his ancestral dragon power. He formally requested permission to stay and assist the elves against the demons. Geo hesitated, but his younger sister reminded him that their people were more important than old laws. Marl, rescued by two humans, and Lamia proved they could trust them. With the elves' support, Geo gave the humans his blessing, though he warned them that they might lose their lives in this foolish endeavor. Dolan smiled, accepting the risk, but before they could shake hands, a massive explosion in the distance caught their attention. The demonic energy reminded Dolan of past encounters, and he invoked the laws of wind to increase everyone's speed. They raced to save the village while the demons discussed their next move. Meanwhile, one demon named George had not yet passed through the portal. She decided to make a game of it, where the first to find the elves could end their life. The metallic demon Jaren refused to join in, leaving Refrasia and another demon as competitors. One of them attacked village. Despite their best efforts, the elves' arrows were useless against his armor. With a single blow, Georude destroyed all the elves in the border area. Their leader felt the attack from afar, but he needed to defeat the scouts before acting. Geo, amused by his easy victory, prepared to kill a small elf, but before he could strike, the forest's branches held him in place. Black roses bloomed and the elf was saved. Geo tried to break free, but grew exhausted as the branches absorbed his mana. The one responsible was Deodora, who controlled the forest's magic. The elves, aided by Dolan's magic, fought off the scouts, giving Dolan enough time to cast another arrow rain spell, quickly eliminating all the enemies in front of him. Christina and Selena also did their part, while Geo used his magic to enter the forest. Dolan knew there were more enemies to defeat, so he used magic crystals to buy time. Selena recognized the crystals as ones they had obtained during their first encounter. Christina invoked the laws of wind to enhance her sword, while Selena amplified her earth magic with the crystals. Dolan, not wanting to be left behind, recited a spell that exploded, ensuring no more enemies remained. Geo, feeling more at ease, prepared for the final battle. Back with Deodora, she continued to control Geo with her magic, urging him to reflect on his sins. He, however, saw the world differently, believing only the strong should survive. Deodora planned to punish him, but before she could act, Refrasia arrived and undid her spell. She was the second member of the 4 demonic knights. Georude refused to accept this, but Refrasia ignored him and turned to face Deodora. Deodora summoned all the spirits in the area, but they seemed unresponsive. She taunted her, suggesting she had summoned the flower spirits, which had vanished when she accidentally touched them. Rafrasia revealed that she destroyed all the white lily spirits. This fueled Diodora's anger, but when she saw that even the roses had been destroyed, she had no choice but to fight without the spirit's aid. She created a massive web of thorns, but it was ineffective against Rafrasia's shield. She revealed that she too was a floral spirit, but one that thrived on life and suffering unlike the beautiful flowers of this world. She consumed the skin, blood, and mana of living beings, making her nearly untouchable. Diodora tried to continue her attack, but Rafrasia's defense was unbreakable. In a desperate move, Diodora used her power to strike back. A hidden root pierced Rafrasia's face, giving Diodora a small victory. Rafrasia decided to end her life by spreading a deadly curse while Diodora summoned her own power. Meanwhile, Georude, tired of being ignored, charged into the fight. Despite Diodora's attempts to stop him, he unintentionally helped Rafrasia by sending Diodora flying. Rafrasia began draining her mana. Diodora, with no power left, realized she was running out of time. Just when it seemed all hope was lost, a miracle occurred. Dolan arrived, determined to eliminate the demons quickly and save the elves once and for all. As Dolan lands in the midst of battle, everyone is stunned by his sudden arrival. Ignoring the enemies before him, he turns to check on Diodora, an act that deeply offends Geo. He attempts to attack, but Christina swiftly intervenes. Dolan joins, narrowly missing Geo's neck with his blade, forcing the enemy to retreat. Rafrasia seizes the moment to ambush Dolan, but an arrow from the elves halts her attack, fueling her rage. Suddenly, a powerful tremor shakes the battlefield as the portal reopens, and the strongest of the demon knights, George, emerges. Georude moves to finish off the humans quickly, but a surge of mana from Selena interrupts him. Enraged by the harm inflicted on the elves and spirits, Selena unleashes a swarm of dark serpents at him. Rafrasia rushes towards Selena to feed on her mana, but Dolan counters with an energy attack aided by Diodora. The combined strike lands a critical blow on Rafrasia. Meanwhile, Georude is restrained by Selena, allowing Dolan to prepare a powerful spear attack. However, Jaren intervenes, deflecting the attack and creating a smokescreen. Emerging from the smoke, Jaren introduces himself and challenges Selena to a duel, enraging Georude, who breaks free to claim her as his prey. Dolan rushes to protect Selena, but Christina steps in to defend her. Unleashing her sword's hidden power, Christina lands a strike on Georude's neck, infuriating him. Elsewhere, Selena traps another foe in shadowy constructs, but he taunts her hesitation and breaks free, attacking her. Dolan counters just in time, repelling the enemy with a powerful energy punch. Suddenly, a new warrior descends onto the battlefield, exuding an aura of sharp discipline and pure combat thrill. Dolan immediately recognizes him as a formidable foe unlike any they've faced. George, impressed by Dolan's bravery, acknowledges him as a worthy opponent and draws two massive swords. Their weapons clash fiercely, and Dolan reflects on George's overwhelming strength, realizing he may need to unleash his dragon mana to prevail. However, Dolan hesitates, knowing the collateral damage could destroy the elven village. George notices Dolan's restraint and decides to test him further. Summoning his immense power, he unleashes a devastating attack. Dolan gathers his dragon mana and counters with a slash that splits George's attack in two, leaving the battlefield unarmed. He bursts into laughter, impressed by Dolan's skill. Acknowledging Dolan's strength, George decides to halt the battle, offering the forest inhabitants 3 days to decide whether to resist or join the demon army. He warns that upon their return there will be no mercy. As the demon knights retreat through the portal, Selena embraces Dolan, relieved he's unharmed. Christina joins them, assuring Dolan she's fine, but expressing her desire to ask him questions later. Together they head to the elven village, where they are introduced to the forest's leaders, Dio the elf, Vlaic the werewolf, and Ossian the arachnid. The leaders thank Dolan for helping their people and note his extraordinary power. Dio suggests seeking counsel from someone familiar with human cities. At that moment, the door opens and Director Olivia enters, warmly greeting Dolan. Her arrival signals a turning point as they prepare for the challenges to come. Olivia thanked Dolan for his help, but surprised Christina by revealing her roots as an elf born in the village. Olivia had left long ago to live in the city, but returned to care for her people during their time of need. Since everyone already knew each other, the discussion was smoother. The village leader stated they would not wait 3 days as George suggested. Instead, they decided to attack the main portal the next day, aiming to destroy it and expel the demons, as the portal's energy was what kept them in this world. However, the village leader hesitated, feeling it was unfair to ask outsiders for more help. Ultimately, both sides set aside their pride and agreed to work together. Olivia mentioned she had requested reinforcements from the kingdom, but they would take time to arrive. This motivated Dolan, as he understood how difficult it was for the villagers to ask for help and wanted to assist in defeating the demons. Meanwhile, among the demons, tensions grew. Kieran urged restraint, pointing out that unnecessary losses weakened their forces, but the leader remained indifferent. This reminded Kieran of Dolan's strength during their earlier battle, earning him respect even among his enemies. George, the demon leader, eagerly awaited the confrontation, reminiscing about his youth when he fought alongside the god of war and witnessed the power of a mythical dragon. Now he saw Dolan as a human with the potential to rival such greatness. Back in the village, Dolan visited Diodora late at night to check on her. Despite her initial hostility, he insisted on helping with her injuries, particularly those caused by the raffrasia flower. Using his vital energy, he healed her wounds, leaving Diodora questioning whether Dolan was truly human. She shared her grief over the innocent spirits killed by the flower, and Dolan vowed to help her seek justice. Moved, Diodora thanked him for his kindness. Later, Dolan joined Selena and Christina for dinner. Their casual conversation shifted to teasing, but Dolan reassured them he respected them for who they were. That night, Dolan noticed Selena missing from her hammock and found her gazing at the moon. She admitted her nerves about the battle, but clarified it wasn't fear holding her back, it was her hesitation to harm others. Dolan encouraged her, telling her she didn't need to change and gifting her a magical necklace to protect her. Inspired, Selena vowed never to hesitate again. The next day, Dio held a ceremony to honor the fallen and inspire courage. He reminded everyone of the damage the demons had caused and urged them to fight for the future of the forest. With spirits lifted, the group prepared for the mission. Their goal was to destroy the primary portal and its 3 supporting gates. As they approached the portal, Selena separated from the group to protect Dio's squad on the front lines. With Dolan's trust and the gift he gave her, Selena resolved to fight without holding back, ready to defend the forest at all costs. George and his subordinates prepared for the final battle as enemies approached the portals. Raffrasia complained about guarding the most isolated portal, expecting no action. To her surprise, Diodora arrived alone for their rematch, determined to defeat her after the devastation she caused during their last encounter. Raffrasia dismissed her decision as reckless, believing no one would come to her aid. However, Diodora revealed this was intentional. Avenging the innocent flowers she destroyed was her personal mission. Elsewhere, the elves struggled against Kieran, whose powerful axe neutralized aerial attacks. Geo refused to give up, leading another charge when Selena intervened, burying the demon under rocks. Her attacks were unusually strong, and though Geo appreciated the help, he questioned why she had left the main gate. Selena explained she wanted to support the frontline, knowing Kieran remained a significant threat. Meanwhile, Dolan and Christina hadn't engaged yet, but worried about Selena. Christina, unable to contain her anxiety, decided to assist her, but Dolan reassured her that Selena would be fine. He had given her a special crystal for protection, amplifying her inner strength. Despite his words, Christina's concern lingered as they reached their destination. Shifting focus to Georude, he had nearly defeated all his foes except for Alon's group, who desperately fought against overwhelming odds. Christina then arrived, claiming a carriage and instructing to evacuate survivors. She faced Georude using her arcane blade, now enhanced with mana, which cut through his armor and prevented regeneration. Dolan, using dragon wings, flew toward the main gate, determined to help his friends. Diodora, still battling Raffrasia, demanded a one-on-one fight. She complied, creating an arena surrounded by roots. Diodora launched dark petals to counter her miss, but Raffrasia retaliated with life force energy stolen from her innocent friends, enraging her. Drawing on a sealed power, Diodora unleashed black petals that absorbed everything. Raffrasia appeared to overpower her, but she unknowingly accelerated the growth of a black rose seed Diodora had planted in their first fight. The seed sprouted roots inside Raffrasia, tearing her apart and ensuring her defeat. Dolan arrived just in time to protect Diodora from Raffrasia soldiers. Unleashing a rain of energy, he drove the soldiers away and used healing magic to restore her. Dolan's actions marked the second time he saved Diodora, impressing her with his abilities and revealing he possessed the soul of a dragon. Meanwhile, Selena, gravely injured, recovered thanks to Dolan's crystal and continued fighting. Christina defeated Georude, who referred to her as a superhuman, natural enemies of demons. Dolan faced George, the demon leader, who invited him to the demon realm for a fair battle. Dolan accepted, vowing to fight with all his strength. In the demon world, Dolan prepared for his most challenging fight yet. Back in the forest, Selena struggled with fear and uncertainty. Despite wanting to surrender, the forest's gates closing reignited her determination. Seeing her allies struggling against Kieran, she remembered her promise to Dolan and made her move. Summoning her serpent companion and harnessing newfound powers from her amulet, she trapped Kieran with earth chains. Despite his overwhelming strength, Selena's enhanced abilities, including a rain of rocks, hypnotic eyes, and a multi-serpent attack, overwhelmed the demon. Her amulet summoned a dragon-like form of Dolan, delivering the final devastating blow and saving her allies. Selena, elated by her victory, vowed to find Dolan and share her accomplishment. Meanwhile, in the demon realm, Dolan found the environment desolate and unwelcoming. George, eager for battle, prepared to face him without holding back. The fight began with Dolan easily overpowering and throwing him back with overwhelming strength. Realizing the challenge, Georude unleashed his ultimate technique, combining celestial death and earthquakes to create a powerful attack. However, Dolan effortlessly cut through it, demonstrating his superiority and forcing Georude to get serious. Back in the forest, Christina and Diodora rejoined the elves after their victories. Olivia, searching for Dolan near the portal, found no sign of him but discovered a strange fragment. The forest leaders gathered to celebrate their triumph over the demons, only to learn that Dolan was still battling the demon leader. A difficult decision arose: seal the portal to save the forest, even if it meant leaving Dolan behind. The idea of sealing the portal didn't sit well with everyone. Dio, however, insisted it wasn't worth endangering the entire forest for one person. Before a decision was made, the focus shifted to Dolan, who continued dominating his battle with George. A powerful strike left George gravely injured, but the demon leader persisted, demanding recognition for his honed skills. When Selena and the others learned of the forest leader's plan, they vehemently opposed it. Selena, Christina, and others reminded everyone of Dolan's sacrifices and vowed he would not lose. Their confidence swayed the forest leaders, who decided to place their hopes on Dolan's victory. Back in the battle, George unleashed distant slashes and a massive whirlwind, but Dolan countered effortlessly with his dragon's breath. Despite George's determination, Dolan disarmed him literally and figuratively before delivering a final blow that split him in half. Before dying, he expressed gratitude for Dolan's acknowledgement of his persistence. A mysterious woman observed the fight from afar, smiling as she found the dragon she had been seeking. Dolan returned through the portal, greeted with relief by his friends, especially Selena, who ran to embrace him. The portal was destroyed, leaving the forest bathed in a beautiful blue sky. A celebration followed, with Dolan and his group receiving gratitude and joining a grand party. Diodora admitted she would miss Dolan, while Dio revealed a special outfit for the heroines, though it embarrassed Christina. Later, Dolan invited Selena to dance, and during their moment together, she confessed her earlier fears of running away but credited Dolan's support for her courage. As the festivities ended, Selena fell asleep and Dolan heard Christina singing a peculiar song about a white dragon saving the world. She revealed it was a family tradition, and Dolan assured her the lyrics were perfect. The next morning, the group was thanked again, with Olivia inviting Dolan to the Magic Academy. He asked for time to decide. Before parting, Diodora gifted Dolan black rose seeds as magical potions, sealing her gratitude with a kiss. That night, as Dolan returned home, he was suddenly attacked by a mysterious hand, leaving his fate uncertain.